Today, Mom, we are the group 13 and we're going to discuss all about session plan, starting with Mr. Mark Ian.
So, what is a session plan? So, a session plan is a structured and organized document that outlines the framework and details of a training program or a session. So, it serves as a roadmap for trainers and facilitators, helping them design and deliver effective learning experiences. A well crafted session plan ensures that learning objectives are met, participants are engaged, and the training session is both informative and interactive. So, the importance of defining clear and measurable learning objectives. So, clear and measurable learning objectives are essential for guiding the design and the delivery of an educational or training session. So, they provide a clear focus on what participants should be able to achieve or demonstrate by the end of the session. So, in creating a comprehensive session plan for an educational or training session, it is essential to ensure a well organized and effective learning experience. And it because if we don't explain the process of creating a comprehensive session plan during a what we call class or in training, several issues may arise like lack of clarity, ineffective delivery, missed learning objectives, and lack of engagement during classes. So, in creating a comprehensive session plan, we have first the focus and direction. So, learning objectives provide a clear direction for the session, ensuring that the content and activities are aligned with the desired outcomes. So they help trainers and facilitators stay on track and avoid unnecessary tangents. So if ang pasabot ani if learning objectives don't have a clear direction for the session, so this can result in a mismatch between what is thought and what is expected to be learned. So aside from that, it can lead also to confusion to students or participants regarding the purpose and focus of the session. So next is the assessment and evaluation. So measurable learning objectives enable trainees to assess participants' progress and evaluate the effectiveness of the session. So by the setting specific criteria for success, trainers can measure whether the objectives have been met and make necessary adjustments to improve future sessions. So aning letter B is makaingon ta nga without measurable learning objectives, there will be lack of clarity in assessment or in a class. And there is also a difficulty in tracking the students, participants' progress, and maybe there is a lack of accountability. So as a future educator, for me, measurable objectives are crucial for effective learning and assessment during classes. So next slide, please. So next is the participant engagement. So clear learning objectives help participants understand the purpose and relevance of the session. So when participants know what they are working towards, they are more likely to be engaged and motivated to actively participate in the learning process. So aning letter C, which is the participant engagement. So dapat jud nga when it comes to learning objectives, dapat relevant jud siya or connected siya sa imong topic. It is because kung dili connected ang imong learning objectives sa imong topic is mag-struggle ang imong student to find motivation to actively engage and participate sa imong klase. So kanang for example is ang content sa imong learning objectives is all about kanang baking, pero ang content sa imong topic is all about kanang cooking. So possibly nga dili jud mo ma-motivate and no active participation gikan sa imong mga students kay na-confuse sila og unsay jud imong objectives. So importante jud ang clear learning objectives during training or class discussion. So, strategies for designing engaging and interactive activities that aligns with the learning objectives. So, engaging and interactive activities are crucial for promoting active learning and enhancing participants' understanding and retention of the content. So, So first we have active learning techniques. So incorporate activities that require participants to actively engage with the content such as group discussions, case studies, role plays, hands-on exercise, or problem-solving tasks. So these activities encourage participants to apply their knowledge and skills in a practical context, fostering deeper understanding and retention. So adding letter A, which is active learning techniques. So the meaning of active learning techniques is to incorporate instructional activities that require participants or students to actively engage with the content. So instead of passively receiving information, ang mga students or participants are encouraged to participate sa mga activities nga nag-involve nila in the learning process. Same bitaw anang mag-assign atong mga instructors anang og mga group discussions, role plays, hands-on exercise, or problem-solving task. And by actively engaging with the context, ang mga students or trainees nimo are able to apply their knowledge and skills in a practical context. So next is we have varied instructional methods. So use a mix of instructional methods to cater to different learning styles and preferences. So this can include visual aids, multimedia presentations, demonstrations, simulations, or experimental learning activities. So varying the method keeps participants engaged and helps reinforce key concepts. So adding letter B is anang as a teacher or trainee, it is important to use a mixed instructional methods to cater your students or participants diverse learning styles and preferences. Kay in every kanang atong students is lahi-lahi man jud ta og mga learning styles. So naatay kanang auditory, visual, and kanang kinesthetic. So kay if dili bitaw nato i-apply sa atong pag-teach is ang katong mga different learning style is may possibilidad nga kanang maboring imong klase. So kay kanang sa tawag na kanang wala sila na engage sa imong gigamit nga kanang learning style, so wala mo na meet ang ilang standards. So dapat jud nga dili lang isa imong gamiton, like mag-focus ka sa kanang auditory, sige na kag yaw-yaw, wa kay gi-present na video. So ang katong mga visual learners nga mga bata is dili sila di sila ma-engage sa imong topic. So dapat balance jud, and dapat every day we must use mixed instructional methods to keep participants engaged. So next slide. So next we have collaborative learning. So encourage collaboration and interaction and participants through group work, peer discussions, or peer teaching. So collaborative activities promote active engagement, critical thinking, and the exchange of ideas and perspectives. So it is very kanang understandable, no? So when we say collaborative learning, so ang mas student jud is nasa like kanang tawag na kanang collaboration. And next is the gamification and technology. So incorporate gamification elements such as quizzes, challenges, or interactive online platforms to make the learning experience more enjoyable and interactive. So utilize technology tools such as online polling or interactive whiteboards to enhance participant engagement and interaction. So naka-experience naman ta aning gamification, no, like katong mga past reportings na to nga nagamit ta og katong mga applications nga na yung mga games at kanang nag-serve as our kanang sa tawag na oy kanang energizer during the discussion. So that's all. That ends of my topic.
So thank you so much, Mr. Mark Ayanmanla. And now let's move on to considerations for selecting appropriate resources, materials, and technology to support the session plan. So engaging and interactive activities are crucial for promoting active learning and enhancing participants' understanding and retention of the content. One of the first factors to consider when selecting teaching materials is the characteristics of your students or student factors, such as their age, level, background, interests, learning styles, and abilities. Choose teaching materials that are appropriate, engaging, and challenging for your students and that address their diverse needs and preferences. So, for example, you might want to use materials that reflect the cultural and linguistic diversity of your students, that offer multiple modes of representation and expression that allow for differentiation and scaffolding and that foster collaboration and communication among students. Another factor to consider when selecting teaching materials is the curriculum factors. The alignment with the curriculum factor standards and objectives that you are expected to follow and achieve. Choose teaching materials that support the development of the knowledge, skills, and competences that your students need to master and that are consistent with the vision and values of your educational institution and system. So, for example, use materials that promote inquiry-based learning, critical thinking, creativity, and social responsibility that is aligned with the national or state standards and assessment. So that's why we have the curriculum. And the third factor to consider when selecting teaching materials is the content factors. The quality and relevance of the content and design of materials. Choose teaching materials that are accurate, current, and comprehensive and that cover the essential topics and concepts that your students need to learn. Teaching materials should be clear, coherent, and attractive and that they use effective pedagogical strategies and methods to facilitate learning. So, for example, use materials that provide clear learning objectives, instructions, and feedback that use varied and authentic texts and tasks that incorporate multimedia and technology and that stimulate curiosity and interest. And the fourth factors to consider when selecting teaching materials is the availability and affordability of the resources that you need to access and use the materials. Select teaching materials that are accessible, adaptable, and sustainable, and that fit within your budget and time constraints. Choose teaching materials that are compatible with the equipment and infrastructure that you have in your classroom or school, and that are easy to update and maintain. So, for example, in the resource factors is make sure that your materials are available online or in print that can be customized or modified according to your context and needs and that are cost effective and environmentally friendly. So that is also very important, no? So para maka-access ta. And the fifth factor to consider when selecting teaching materials is the evaluation factors. So the feedback and evaluation of the outcomes that you and your students achieve by using the materials. Choose teaching materials that are evidence-based, data-driven, and responsive, and that allow you to monitor and measure the progress and performance of your students. Choose teaching materials that are reflective, collaborative, and innovative that allow you to improve your own teaching practice and professional growth. So, for example, in the evaluation factor, it is very important that your material provides formative and summative assessments that collects and analyzes data on student learning, that solicits and incorporates feedback from students and peers, and that can be encourage experimentation and exploration. The next one is the significance of sequencing activities and managing timing to ensure a smooth flow of a session. So the significance of sequencing activities and managing timing lies in creating environment where tasks and are completed efficiently, resources are used optimally, and objectives are met within the set time frame. So the significance of sequencing activities are managing time lies in creating an environment where tasks are completed efficiently. So here are the factors. First, we have the efficient resource utilization. So by sequencing activities, you can allocate resources more efficiently, ensuring that the right resources are available at the right time. This prevents resource conflicts and helps in optimal utilization. The second one is identification of dependencies. So sequencing helps you in identifying dependencies between tasks. Understanding these dependencies is crucial for determining the most logical and efficient order for activities to take place. And the third one is the risk mitigation. Proper sequencing can help identify potential risks and bottlenecks early in the process. This allows for proactive measures to be taken to mitigate risks, ensuring a smoother session flow. The fourth one is the achievement of milestones. So managing time and sequencing activities contribute to meeting projects, milestones, and deadlines. It ensures that each activity is given adequate time for completion without causing delays. The fifth one is enhanced productivity. When activities are sequenced logically, it reduces the time spent on transitioning between tasks, leading to an increased productivity and more streamlined workflow. We have also the improved communication. So clear sequencing of activities can improve communication among team members or students by setting clear expectations on what needs to be done and when. Next is the flexibility in management. With a well-defined sequence, it becomes easier to adjust the flow of activities in the response to unforeseen changes, maintaining the session's overall effectiveness. The next one is creation of a structured approach. So sequencing provides a structured approach to tackling complex tasks, breaking them down into manageable parts that can be tackled in a logical order. The next one is time savings. So effective sequencing and time management can lead to significant time savings by avoiding rework and ensuring that activities progress without necessary interruptions. And we have also the enhanced learning and retention. In educational settings, sequencing learning activities can lead to better understanding and retention of information by building upon previously learned concepts. So the significance of sequencing activities and managing timing lies in creating an environment where tasks are completed efficiently, resources are used optimally, and objectives are met within the set time frame. So it is fundamental aspect of successful sessions that contributes to overall success of any project or learning experience. And for the next slide, the role assessment methods in evaluating learning comprehension and achievement of learning objectives, I give the virtual floor to Ms. Meredith Navarez.
Okay, so next we have the session plan. So role of the assessment methods in evaluating learner comprehension and achievement of learning objectives. So assessment methods are information, evidence, and or data we collect to determine the extent to which students are meeting learning outcomes. Okay, so now we will know how does assessment methods help us. So it helps teachers identify what students know and can do in different domains to support the students' learning. Okay, so session plan help teachers to identify kung asa dapit ang weakness o ang strengths sa students so that makasupport sila sa learning sa students. Second is to determine students' individual strengths, weaknesses, knowledge, and skills prior to instruction. It is primarily used to diagnose student difficulties and to guide lesson and curriculum planning. Third, it determines learning targets and appropriate teaching and learning strategies to achieve them. Fourth, give both high level and detailed feedback. So next, okay, so assessment method also identify the causes underlying academic difficulties. So through assessment, iba naman tayo mga assessment katong summative, formative, ug diagnostic na assessment. So through those assessment, makita na to kung unsa ang mga difficulties sa mga students kay we have multiple intelligences. Some excel in demonstration, some excel in oral recitation. So mo na nga lahi ang mga knowledge sa student. That is why it is very important, crucial ang pag-apply og mga assessment methods so that ma-identify nato ang weaknesses or ang difficulties of every students. Next is summative assessment measures learning. This allows feedback to improve learning. Of course, summative assessment diha nimo makita if naabay na learn or naabay retention na sa ilang learning. Next is allow learners to have self-regulation for them to set goals, monitor their growth, and make adjustments accordingly. Okay, so ang kaning mga assessment methods, dira siya sa teachers. It's because it help teachers pud nga ma-determine ang mga weaknesses and strengths sa students. But also aside sa makatabang siya sa teachers, makatabang po siya sa students nga makuan nila ilang kaugalingon, na sila self-regulation o makaset sila og goals towards sa ilang improvement. And we have here different assessment methods allow you to assess different aspects of students' learning. The right mix of methods means that a number of different skills can be assessed. Next. Aba ko kaginayon. Okay, so next is the techniques for revising and refining the session plan based on feedback and reflection. First, we have here the critical reception. So first step in order for you to revise your session plan is to collect feedback. So ask participants for feedback at the end of the session through surveys, questionnaires, or verbal feedback. This will help you understand that what worked well and what could be improved in the session plan. So we all know no, as what Mr. Ayan has discussed na, it is very important to have a clear objectives para kay baka kung saan dapat nimo i-hit o kung saan dapat nimo i-surpass. So through collecting feedback, diha nimo makita if na-hit ba nimo ang imong mga learning objectives, if na-realize ba nimo ang angay nga makatunan sa mga students. Second, we have to reflect on the session. Take some time to reflect on the session yourself. Consider what aspects of the session went smoothly and what areas could have been better. Think about how the session could be improved for the future literations. Okay, so it is very important po to revise para maka-revise ka o maka-construct ang effective na session plan. For our second, you have to reflect on the session plan. You have to reflect sa tanan nga nakatunan sa student if enough na ba ang imong session plan, enough na ba siya nga ma-hit ang inyong goal. So if di pa, then you need to have revision of your session plan. Third, identify key areas of improvement. Based on the feedback and reflection, identify the key areas of the session plan that need to be revised or refined. This could include the content, structure, activities, pacing, or interaction with participants. Okay, so we need also to identify the key areas of improvement. Kung napabay angay nga i-improve, napabay nakulangan. So it is very important na atong i-identify ang mga key areas. So next. Update the session plan. Okay, so make necessary adjustments to the session plan based on the feedback and reflection. This could involve tweaking the content, reorganizing the activities, adding new elements, or removing unnecessary parts. So, sa part na nga mag-update kasi mo session plan, di ba, first step is mag-collect man ka og mga response or mga feedback. So, ani sa update the session plan, imahan na nga i-apply ang tanan nga mga feedback nga imong nakita nga makaayo or maka-help siya nga ma-improve imong session plan. So, sa imong pag-update sa session plan, imo na apilon ang mga feedback, mga idea nga tan-aw nimo makatabang para mahimong effective ang imong session plan. So this could tweaking content, reorganizing activities, adding new elements, or removing unnecessary parts. Next, we have to test the revised session plan. Before implementing the revised session plan in another session, it can be helpful to test it out in a small group or with a colleague. This will give you a chance to see how the changes work in practice and make any further adjustments as needed. Okay, so before nimo i-implement ang imong revised session plan, and last, we have to reflect on the impact of the revisions. So after the session, take time to reflect on the impact of the revisions. Consider whether the changes were effective in addressing the feedback and improving the session overall. So lastly, you need to reflect on the impact of the revision. So diba, before nimo i-implement ang imong gi-revise nga session plan, imo pa man siyang suwayan in a small group. So ang tanang reflection adto or tanang nga feedback imo pa i-reflect. So dito nimo makita if ang imong revised session plan successful and effective than the first one. So that would be all